Have you ever forgotten to buy chips? Or pizza, or rice? Ever forgotten the name of someone who didn't even matter to you, even though you wanted to remember it just because you felt like you should?
My name? Yes, your name. My name na Osas.
Ever forgotten the address to a party? And now, thanks to that, you've missed your chance to talk to a hot chick and potentially your future wife. Ever forgotten your wedding anniversary or your wife's birthday? And now, because of that, you're looking at a divorce. Ever forgotten someone's preferred pronouns in the LGBTQ community?
Mappa, Nini, Nopa, Nori, Opa, Pere, Pom-Pom, Zaza, Zizi.
Trixic, toric, feminimoric, viramoric, allosexual.
They, them, theirs. They're customizable. Anything can be a pronoun, really.
Well, I feel your frustration and exhaustion. Today, I'm handing you the forgotten key to how not to forget. Back in the day, and I mean, way back in the day. Well, before the printing press was invented, access to resources was extremely difficult and limited. Scholars, aristocrats, merchants, landowners, and even religious leaders had a desperate need to memorize writings and sometimes even what they heard. Since remembering is hard, they tried to use a series of techniques to store information better and longer. The memory palace is one of those techniques. Imagine yourself at a massive party, everyone's talking, screaming, laughing, drinking, dancing, smoking and getting high. You're there, trying to hit on a beautiful chick, which is impossible, let's be real, but then for whatever reason maybe you have to buy dinner for your sick wife in the hospital, or answer her call, or maybe you just really have to take a shit. Or maybe you're gay and you're just not feeling good about yourself. You step out of the building where the party is happening. Of course, no sane person would want to leave a party like that, but you have to. And right after you step out, the entire building collapses on the guests. It's definitely not a pretty sight. You're devastated by it, and so is everyone else. Especially since you lost your chance to get that chick's number, even though you're gay. They say this is the exact scene the Greek poet Simonides of Chios faced in the 5th century BC. Now, I'm not sure if Simonides was hitting on a girl, and I'm not sure if he was gay. Though those Greeks always seemed a bit suspicious to me. But when they pulled the bodies from the ruins, they were unrecognizable. However, Simonides rewound time in his mind. He reconstructed the collapsed building in his memory. He looked at all the guests one more time, and then opened his eyes. He led everyone who had lost a loved one to the exact spot where they had been sitting before the disaster. Now, think about your own life. Think about all the books you've ever read. How much of that content do you actually remember? You could spend your whole life reading different books, but if you can't recall the material when you need it, how can you claim you've learned anything? And more importantly, how can you properly and rigorously critique what you've learned? Education means being able to retrieve and analyze information whenever you want. Isn't this method of learning the right kind of learning for a free and noble human being? And this is exactly where the memory palace comes into play. The memory palace is based on the idea that you need to visualize a place in your mind, a place you know like the back of your hand. Then, you fill this imaginary space with images that represent the things you want to remember. The Romans called this the method of Loki, and that's why the structure created this way is known as a memory palace. Keep in mind, a memory palace doesn't actually have to be a palace or even a building. It could be the streets of a city, train stations, mythical creatures, or even your own body or someone else's.
Yeah, boy.
You naughty rascals. A memory palace can be any size, the only limit is your own imagination and creativity. There are two essential keys to a memory palace. 1. Familiarity with the location. 2. A clear visual order among the objects. The core idea is to take information that is boring, tedious, and hard to memorize and turn it into something vibrant, colorful, and attractive. The funnier, weirder, and more stupid the image you visualize in your palace is, the better it sticks in your brain. For instance, images that are sexier and more provocative are much easier to remember, so that's a great news for all of you wankers out there. Of course, some of you might be against this kind of visualization because of your partner. Well, you could just put images of your partner in your memory palace instead. But be a bit careful, if the relationship ends one day, you'll have to wipe all those images from your mind, which is a hard thing to do.
Mom Smart Cookie.
If you're still not comfortable with that, you don't even have to use your partner, but just make sure you create an image that is absolutely unforgettable. Now, let's actually memorize some stuff. Here's a shopping list. Olive oil, bananas, chocolate milk, a phone charger, and the book The Lord of the Rings. This is my memory palace. Let's step inside. Let's place these items one by one. First, the olive oil. I'm visualizing a bottle of olive oil with olives on it that have handlebar mustaches, and I'm placing it right here, next to this sofa. I'll even smell the oil in my mind and feel it being poured onto my hand so I can remember it better. As for the banana, I'm picturing Jennifer Lopez holding it, and I'm putting her right next to my bed, exactly where she belongs. That way, I'll never ever forget it. I'll hand the chocolate milk to Kevin Hart, the comedian. He's running a marathon inside my memory palace. Black people have always been great runners.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And I want to salute all of them. All you sweet caramels and 50% to 98% dark chocolate. You're doing a great job with your tireless efforts in robbing the white Jews. It's just a joke. Next up, the phone charger. You know what? I'm going to turn the charger cable into the body of a white Chinese dragon with Bobby Lee's face on its head. And I'm going to plug Bobby Lee into J-Lo's banana. I'm sure Bobby would be proud of this image, even though deep down he'd rather be plugged into Jennifer Lopez herself. As innocent as the Chinese might look, I think inside, they are all quite wicked and naughty.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋。
And last but not least, we have The Lord of the Rings. I don't know how many of you have read The Lord of the Rings, but we're going to assume that none of you watching this have read the books or seen the movies. To remember the title, I'll visualize a hand with every single finger covered in rings, just like this. It turned out a bit like the hands of those Indian fakirs, but now, I'll never forget the book, the elves, or the Middle Earth. To make sure these bizarre images stick, assuming the info attached to them is actually valuable, you should visit them every once in a while to burn them into your brain. Now, I'm sure some of my viewers, you three, who decided to watch this crap have more questions. But this video isn't going any deeper. If you want to learn more, check out the books I've linked in the description. All in all, you should know there are still limits. This isn't easy. In fact, nothing in life is easy. Using this technique requires consistent practice, maybe 30 minutes a day. Also, the more abstract the concepts, the less effective the memory palace becomes. Plus, be aware that it can sometimes give you an illusion of learning. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope that Wait, what just happened? Oh no, my memory palace has collapsed. What do I do now? What about Jennifer Lopez, and the banana I gave her? Bobby Lee the Chinese dragon. That poor black kid. And Middle Earth is gone too. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Until next time, take care.